What's
No, for
going on,
sure.
guys? It's Tom from Team Paradigm here, coming at you with another locals feature match. As you can see, we've got me on the right actually playing Tearlaments, and we've got Ross on the left playing Mathmech. But I'm also joined by a special character. I have been on a podcast recently representing Team Paradigm on Fabz Yu-Gi-Oh channel, and we have another one of the co-hosts here. Please introduce yourself, buddy.
Yo, what's up, guys? So my name's Dan. I'm one of the co-hosts of TYF. So I also feature on a very inactive channel called the Sanctum Squad. Known Tom and some of the Paradigm boys for a while. So thank you for letting me come and comment on this game here.
That's absolutely no problems. We'll get straight into it. Obviously, we can see the standard Mathmech combo here. Just going circular, send that Sigma, summon it back to make the old Allen version and searching diameter. It's pretty much noodle soup at this point. I don't think there's anything too special that Mathmech does unless you're playing like the Atignista variant, which I think is quite cool. I don't think it's as good as like this variant though.
No. I think the Agnista variant is cool, but I think it's a little bit win more if I'm being completely honest, because Mathmech is broken enough as it is. I think with like Super Factorial, the Allen version with the negate, and then like the field, hand, and graveyard spin as well. I think you don't need to really add a towers on top of that, if I'm being completely honest. But it looks like Russ is just sort of going through the sort of bread and butter lines here. Adding an IP on top of the Heat Soul is quite interesting. Is that standard in Mathmech?
It
Or
can
does it just
be.
depend on the hand?
There were certain combos that used to end on like IP, Wicked, and Heat Soul, and it would allow you to go into like an Appaloosa. As you'll see in a minute, Ross doesn't actually make an Appaloosa here. He does something a little bit different. But we're obviously starting off on mine with the Diviner of the Herald. So just trying to
strong
get those,
normal summon.
yeah, it's a very, very good normal summon here. Just trying to get like those cards milled right, but coming down with an Imperm kind of sucks. There's not much else we can do.
Pretty strong.
Yeah, the hand is,
not-
from what I remember in this match, the hand was pretty weak, because I'm going straight for a poly here, so I've obviously hard opened the poly.
Yeah, hard opening the poly is nice, but going the IP for the Avramax, it's quite hard for Tier to out this, right?
It is very hard, and you'll actually see, as a bit of a spoiler, I spend far too long in this game, and I make a lot of misplays, but I've used Beast and Rhino Heart from the hand, that beautiful ultimate rare Rhino Heart, by the way.
Very nice, very nice.
But yeah, so I go to make the
those are
Guardian
some pretty strong
Chimera.
discards.
Yeah, it's very good. I mean, I'm getting 3 draws here, which is just going to let me dig further. I'm going to get the pop. I was obviously intending to try and hit the Super Factorial, had Ross not activated it. But obviously, because it doesn't target, we do get to destroy on resolution. Discarding the Celiac, drawing a card off of the Beast, and then Guardian Chimera being able to destroy the Laplacian, which is a bit bizarre because that shouldn't have been the case. Because obviously Laplacian can protect itself, so a bit of a misplay on Ross's end, but as I go to use the Rhino Heart effect, he comes down at the Ash Blossom, but luckily I have the Pelarino for extension. It is very strong, but
because
I'm just
Tom's
apparently.
just built different though. Tom's just built different with it.
Apparently so.
So what did you search up the Pelarino? Was that Shiren?
I don't think I've searched yet. Yeah, I'm looking at my hand. I think I searched Sharon here just because it is the best extender.
Makes sense.
If I remember rightly, because this card's very hard to out, the best way for Tearlaments to out it is to get to a Baron line. But unfortunately, I don't have access to that. So I think my line of play is trying to make multiple exceeds here, so that one dies to the Avramax, and then I can make Zeus on top of the other. In hindsight, there was a way that I could have won this game A, quicker, and B, much more effectively. And the simple answer is I wait to commit all my stuff, wait to commit my resources, and I summon Mud Dragon on top of something like a Baguska. So that way the Baguska can't be targeted, but I use the Mud Dragon effect to change it to light, so that I can play around every hand trap that would stop the Zeus. But I didn't see that line here. I would like to clarify, and this isn't me trying to flex or anything, I actually built this deck in about 10 minutes, and that was just because I wanted to have some fun before the YCS, which happened, I think it was a couple of weeks ago now. But this is more just like a fun game. Obviously, these decks aren't, well, Mathmech's very relevant in the format, Tearlaments not so much, but it's a very standard sort of list that you play now. Nothing would have really changed from then to now, so it's still pretty relevant. But as we can see here,
yeah, definitely.
As we can see here, I'm just making the Graphofusion and the Redoer. This was a massive misplay on my end. There was no need for me to make the Graphofusion because he can just punch over it. On top of this, I think the Redoer was just hoping that I get a trap off the top. I know that Ross plays Imperm. I know obviously he's playing the Superfact, which is in the grave currently. But that's just all I'm hoping. I just have to hope and pray that is kind of what I can get to. He goes to attack the Redoer. I think he's just trying to make sure that I can't get to a Zeus line.
Sort of go for a Zeus line, right?
Yeah, I think it is a little bit bizarre though.
I think it makes sense though.
Yeah, I guess it's just forcing out the materials, right? Because now I'll only have one material on it. I don't know what I'm thinking.
You have a lot of graveyard effects going off as well, though, so I understand why that might not have been necessarily optimal. I think maybe even just getting over the Grapha here was quite strong. So what's that you've made down there? Is that a Winder?
Yeah. So I put back the Sharon that I detached off of the Redoer and the Beast that was in the grave, and I just make the Winder. And I think I'm just trying to get him to force out so that I can keep my Graphofusion up. I'm just reading here because I think he's attacking into the Graphofusion. I'm trying to see if I'm able to negate it, but unfortunately, because it's in the damage step or the damage calculation, the Avramax effect, I can't actually get rid of it. Because
the way a graph is worded, it's not exactly a negate; it's more of an effect change. So, I'm not 100% sure on how that works on attack and damage calc, but I believe that you wouldn't be able to. Famously not a judge, so
yeah, unfortunately you're not able to. This is very true. But here is the saddest small world for me. So we can see that the matching attributes are indeed fire. And I know exactly what's coming down here. I remember this very vividly, and down comes a lava golem. So I already know what's happening. You can see
your goose is sort of cooked there, yeah.
Yeah. But I still feel like I can play through this. This is what I mean by like I spend way too much time in this game. There's just so much that I could
have done. Go just scooping it up here, going into game 2, having a bit more time.
Yeah.
Especially in a tournament setting.
Yeah, exactly. I also feel like here, though, should have been the most prominent point for me to maybe have committed to that double Zeus play, but I don't see it until it's too late, and I've committed to other lines of play. Obviously, we have one set card, which I know to be Book of Moon, as I could just see it in his hand just there, but when I was playing, I had no idea. And also one card in hand. This kind of minimizes the thought of having hand traps. So, Foolish Burial Goods coming down here. Sending the Rainbow Bridge of Salvation. So this is your favorite card, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah.
The Resident Crystal.
So Tom's going to use this here to search for a Sapphire Pegasus, nice little Zeus line.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't do that. But we do grab the Emerald Tortoise, and I grab the that field spell. Yeah, that's the one, Pearl Areno. Yeah. And I see if I knew what was in my hand at this moment in time. I think I have. I think it was a lot of spells. I saw a lot of green there, so it's just trying to figure out exactly what those cards are, because if on this turn I can get to a rank 4, that should have realistically been the play I made, but I think I saw another Foolish Goods. So it's not great.
It's inconvenient for sure. I think the big thing to remember here as well is the fact that the Avramax was made with IP, so it can't actually be destroyed by card effects. So in order to get over it, it is essentially at this point in your game, I think, just Zeus or bust.
Yeah, and this is the correct line. Getting the Rhino Heart. But what I should do, because I have the Graphofusion engrave, I have a couple of Dark Fusions. So here you make the Mud Dragon and use the Mud Dragon and the whatever you send. No, the Mud Dragon and the Rhino Heart. Sorry, I'm having a very bad morning. To make, like I said, the Baguska or like another rank form. But instead, I just hold, and I don't know why. Maybe because I was scared of what that back row was. But to be honest, I shouldn't have been scared, because I can just use the Pelareno to pop it. It's a bit of a bizarre one.
Hindsight is 2020 though, right?
Of course, yeah. But I do remember in this match actually that I could have done that. But I think I'm just slowly just taking some time to kind of gather enough advantage to try and play through a potential disruption. But the longer I leave it, the worse it becomes. So it is a bit of a crap one here, so to speak.
What's the back row on your end there?
I actually don't remember. I feel like it's a Suliak.
Yeah.
Which obviously is doing nothing right now. All I'm really able to do is just sit and wait until they summon something. And I think I draw another Polarino here, which is like this is prime time. This is exactly what I was looking for. Just trying to get like the Sharon in rotation. So now I can Sharon send a guy. Get that mill 3, try and get some extra advantage, and then normal summon the Rhino Heart, maybe get another fusion summon to try and like keep things going. But in reality, what I actually like genuinely, now that I think about it, it's way more correct to have made that Mud Dragon, because I put the Graphifusion back, and it means now I do have a preventative measure for any hand trap, because I can make the...
Frustrating that you milled the Kaiju there as well.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. That was another thing I was banking on, hoping to try and draw a Kaiju, especially with how little cards are left in my deck. But yeah, as I've already telegraphed, we're going for this play. I have to take some damage, obviously, let the Redoer die, and then main 2 go into the Zeus, and I get punished. The Veil are coming down, and I think at this moment I see the writing on the wall. The only way I'm able to like get back into this is if I get the Zeus into the grave and shuffle it back, or if I draw another Diviner.
There's also a world where you could have actually just used the Zeus effect in case he did pop one of your cards, just add another material to it. But I think, to be honest, like, it's the fact that, I mean, the race off strong, but the fact that like he's probably building up enough advantage now to the point where if the Avramax is outed, your opponent will just have enough strength to just come through and just kind of, you know, push your stuff in. So
yeah. But this is a really nice mill off the top, by the way. Kelbeck
nice.
And Squamata, so I'm able to send the Beast, thin the deck a little bit more to try and find some more fusion effects, as well as being able to mill 5 off of both of our decks. And Circular off the top's actually really nice, and seeing double Nib and double Veiler as well.
Five hand traps that was?
It was 1 Circular. And I mill 'em early.
That's strong.
So, you know, I'm just...
because you're built different.
I'm just better.
Yeah. No, I can attest this. Tom is actually just better at milling when it comes to tier.
Sometimes I am. Unfortunately, there was another local, another feature match at this locals that we could have gotten, and I'm sad that we didn't, because I ended up basically floodgating my opponent out of the game with combo cards, which was very cool. And as we can see, our opponent's trying to go for the kill here. Silent mining to grab subtraction, pitching small world.
I feel like the Silent Mining was such a strong top deck there.
Yeah, and it was just right. It was writing on the wall. So we go into game 2. Obviously, I'm going first, and let's see what happens here. I'm pretty sure this game's quite swift, and it's a much better hand as well, from what I can remember. So we definitely do go to Flavor Town here.
Yeah, we get the king. We get the king of the swamp. Grab the poly.
Yeah, I love this deck so much. I love how it's evolved.
Definitely. We were discussing this deck on the podcast earlier, actually, and like I think while it may be a shadow of what it formerly was, I think it's definitely a deck that just rewards players now who will stick with it and who know like the perfect lines. And I think that's what it should have been initially, to be honest. Anyway, I really like the deck right now for what it's worth. It's not one that I pick up playing because, as you may know if you listen to TYS, I have a very small brain. So I'd be much more likely out of these two to pick up the Mathmech deck and still somehow just end on a set circular. But regardless, we see Tom with the Fenrir here, opening the double planet, I think, as well, for maybe a rank 4 setup or some sort of fusion play, maybe getting into a Rukalos in rotation. I think it depends on what the rest of the hand is, though.
Yeah, my hand, I think, feels very awkward. I wanted to go for... I actually remember this. I hard drew Merly and the Raitsoth, which sucks because with Raitsoth, it's a 1.5 card combo. You need another Tearlaments card in your hand, or a Kashtira card, because you can go Raitsoth, grab Fenrir. Fenrir gets
Fenrir
you to
tier, yeah.
the Tearlaments Kashtira, and then you banish a card, summon the Tearlaments Kashtira, mill 3, and then you overlay for Draco Sack. The Draco Sack tokens get you to Cherubini, and then you can send King of the Swamp, and then you use the Draco Sack and the Cherubini.
I know, I'm sub to pack.
But no, it's a very interesting line, and I do like it. It kind of kicks off your fusion
it is
plays,
cool.
but obviously when you draw the one of, it's a bit unfortunate. And this is what I love to see. You can see my reaction there as well.
You love to see it. You love to see it. The redo are taking the super factorial.
Yeah,
traditionally only a one of, really, I think.
It is in fact a one of. Some people are playing 2 because of Kashtira, but it doesn't entirely matter too much in the grand scheme of things, especially because I know
it's hyper searchable.
Exactly, yes. And he uses the Lava Golem to hit the Redoer and the Graphifusion, which I don't think is incorrect, but obviously I have Fenrir, I have a Shuffler as well, which is just going to kind of allow me to snowball here. Just keep him off of 2
I feel
monsters.
I feel like that was a really tough opening for Ross, because like the fact that you had 3 such powerful monsters like as forms of interruptions, it's like the Lava Golem is good, but I feel like there's going to be more needed, especially with leaving the Fenrir on board, because like, as we all know, Fenrir is such a house.
Yeah, it's so oppressive. It's why it's one of the best staple cards. People were playing it once it released in Darkwing Blast, even when Kashtira wasn't a very good deck. And just trying to, again, just trying to take things down. He shouldn't have actually been able to have done this, because he normally summons the Circular, and obviously he's used Lava Golem, so he wouldn't be able to actually get to Circular here for the normal summon. So there's a little bit of a misplay there, but I don't think it matters in the grand scheme of things. I do actually end up winning this game here. It's a little bit of a spoiler there for you guys, but
it's interesting because Ross seems to have a lot going on with this board right now. The Fenrir, I don't believe, has been triggered, but there's a lot of avenues he could take here with this board.
Yeah, so the Fenrir was triggered after the first Circular summon. I just banished the Circular face down, trying to keep them off of like multiple monsters. Obviously, it didn't necessarily matter because they drew both addition and subtraction.
It's going which is just a skill issue on your part, I think.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But as we see the Laplation coming down, sending multiple cards from the sending multiple cards from everywhere to grave, and unfortunately,
so strong.
I had 2 cards in hand, so it was a 50-50 on a melee or polymerization, and of course,
and he hits the poly.
Yep, I'm never lucky. So here, I think just committing to the splash, attempting to commit to Splash Mage to make a Heat Soul, but what he doesn't realize is in the like 8 or 9 cards that I milled. I milled both of the one-off shufflers because I am just better. So
like the shufflers were one of the reasons Mathmech was not very playable during the Shizu tier format, because it's a deck that does quite heavily rely on the graveyard and like sort of recurring pieces. So being able to snipe a shuffler at the right time is just so strong.
Yeah, especially now that they're one-offs. They are like more so now than before. I've realized that they are very, very powerful cards. Just far too powerful. Especially even like using 2 of them. Like if you get 1 turn and you have both, you're pretty much just winning that game. But luckily the top deck of Scream here, this is actually very potent because I'm able to mill 6. And as we can see off the first 3, well actually it wouldn't have even mattered. Because even off of the first 3, it wasn't like that crazy. But I'm able to use Beast and Trivakama. I am playing both of the traps. Yes. Don't judge me. It's way more worth it than you think. Being able to top deck Perlo. Oh no, I searched the Perloreno and I drew. I can't remember what I top decked there. Pretty sure it was a monster as I'm searching the Sharon.
Yeah, I think that's the Squamata we can see there.
Yeah, which I don't know if it's going to do anything in this match because I think I side out. I play the Hellshadol Hallow, which is, for those of you that don't know, if it's sent to grave by a card effect, you can send cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard, so you can mill cards equal to the number of different attributes. Oh, there it is. Sorry, Ed, I am still playing it. Up to the number of different attributes that
Which
is
in a
on the
deck like
field.
this is just so strong because you can get upwards of like 5 mils off that.
Yeah,
I
and
think.
there you go. Off of the mill 3, we see, I believe that's a Metanoise, a Kelbeck, and a Rhino Heart. It's actually a Celiac, which I don't think I have the numbers for, or I'm just trying to mill, which again, the godly mill hitting the Havness there, being able to fuse.
This is just one of the things that still frustrates me about this deck, though. Like, all of their powerful cards in the graveyard are at 1, and they always seem to be hitting them, folks. Like, I don't really know what's going on there. Maybe, like, you should be talking to your judges when you're playing against a tier player, or...
It's all about your shuffling skill, but as we can see here, I'm just able to go pop the set card, spin back the Splash Mage, and with the boost from the Paloreno, this is game. On
it's a very
field.
this board is like huge, and even if it wasn't game, like having the Rukalos on board is so strong, and it's time, as we can see, for that all important game 3.
Yeah, and obviously we have our Mathmech opponent starting now. I will say this is getting very, very, very close to time, so I'm not sure what the Mathmech opponent was looking to do.
It looks like a very sort of standard bread and butter line they're going for here. The Mathmech player, as always, opening circular.
As always. I believe we can see Sigma in the hand as well, so we do potentially have a normal summon there. Equation, and I think that was addition, so a lot of very easy special summons. A lot of easy bodies, so like this Ash doesn't entirely matter, because normally the reason I ashed circular here is because obviously it gets them to super factorial. I'm trying to play for a super factorial. It makes the most sense, right?
Yeah, definitely, because if you draw the board breaker cards, one thing I've found against Mathmech is like it's not necessarily the end board that is like unbeatable. It's the super factorial that just kills them. But obviously they're able to search you irregardless, so it does seem a little bit like a bit of a fruitless endeavor, which is part of the reason why I'm not 100% sold on hand traps versus Mathmech.
It has to be the right hand trap. Cards
I agree.
like Bell are very powerful against this deck.
Droll as well. I feel like Droll shuts this deck down.
It can to an extent. I think the first 2 searches you're making are typically chain blocked anyways, so that you Droll on the resolution of that, it doesn't matter. If we need to search later in the comment, it doesn't matter entirely. But yeah, so the plan was I was planning to Ash the circular so that when they made the Allen version, they had to search an extender. But as we can see here, summoning transcode, which was very interesting. They're using equation as well, and normal summoning Sigma, and we can see he's counting everything up to a Link 6. The arrival Cyber's Atignista, which is really interesting. And all I need to do is draw a Kaiju to out it. And there it is.
There it is.
As we can see it slapping straight down. That was the most satisfying thing I've ever done, was being able to win a match because of it. And obviously we go terraforming for Pellerino, and immediately slapping down a Fenrir to grab our Tearlaments Kashtira.
I've got to be honest, I think if it was me and I'd just been slapped with a Kaiju and a Fenrir, I'd be tempted to just pick up my cards and just sign the match slip at that point.
Yeah, but we can see Super Fact coming down here as I attempt to end the main phase. So we're still in main phase here. He sends the Pellerino from hand and the Super Fact from and the Fenrir from the field, but I'm able to use the Tearlaments Kashtira at I believe 2200 attack, banishing that Fenrir. Trying to get a couple of mills out to see what I can do, and then just attack, getting that little bit of damage, and this is just a hop, skip, and a jump to full combo as we run out the timer. Now, it's never fun doing that, but I feel like obviously sometimes you just have to. You need to get, you need to get your win, right? So
I also think as well, you would have played it like this anyway, regardless of the time scenario, because you want to get the XCs off the board before you make your full combo, right? Like, the Kaiju's doing nothing at this point, so you just want to kind of ensure that you can build the best board that you can.
Exactly that. And as you can see, time is called right there and then, and that is the end of it. But thank you so much, guys, for watching. We really hope you enjoyed that. It was a little bit of a different one with me and Dan here trying to do the commentary.
But yeah, if you enjoyed it, let us know in the comments. If you like the sound of our voices, be sure to subscribe to Fabz's channel for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, featuring such esteemed guests as Tom. Um, no, but do subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much for having me, and I guess we hope to see you in the next one.
Yeah, like Dan said, thank you for joining us, and yeah, as you can see on the screen, please comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. But nonetheless, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.